airplane.
Feels right.
This feels good. I like this. I like this angle. I like talking right here to the camera. I can see myself in the reflection.
The monologue, the close the curtain, cut the show off.
Today, we're gonna be talking about how to become a better runner in cross country on the grass. I really just wanna create a series right now on the channel where I can provide more information and really provide value in whatever way I can with stuff that I've learned over the years. 10 or 11 years I've been running cross country and I've never been really great at it. I'm gonna throw that out there. It's taken me a long time to really figure out how to do it well. Hopefully you guys can leave this video and feel like you gained some value. So one of the first things I want to talk about relates directly to the racing itself. Split your race into different segments. So let's say you're running a 5,000 meter race, a 5K. Let's say you want to get out hard for the first 800 meters. So that first 800 meters is segment number 1. From 800 to 1200 or 1400, you kind of want to reel yourself back in, calm down, settle, make it to the mile marker. After that, maybe you're 1600 in and you're like, okay, now I want to start scouting out where my competition is. So 1600 to 2500, which is halfway through the race, you might just be kind of looking around, trying to find where the guys are. Maybe not making any huge moves, but trying to figure out where you want to be. So let's say you're at 2500 meters into this race, you're at like 1.55 miles, and now from 1.55 to 2.5, you want to kind of start a steady pursuit. So for the next 1500 meters, you just want to be focused on pursuing and trying to secure like a steady push. And this is where things start to get hard. This is where it gets difficult. There's no way around it. You're halfway through the race. It should start to feel hard right here. Then from 4K to 4,500, you want to start kind of winding up. And then that last 500 meters can be whatever you have, all you got. It's going to be hurting. You're going to have to step into a dark forest at some point. And I like to use the analogy of a dark forest. That's kind of what my coaches used in years past. It's like, eventually you have to take a step of courage in your race and you have to be willing to step off the platform, and you don't know what's gonna happen. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna be the worst pain you've ever experienced possibly. And you just accept this and you step into the dark forest and you aren't scared of it. I'm not a huge proponent of focusing in on times because times don't really matter in cross country. Your biggest thing that you're focusing on is running a good performance, running the best that you possibly can, not getting caught up in oh, I have to hit this split, I have to hit this time, I have to hit this goal, and if I don't hit that goal, then everything's shattered. And I think that's what a lot of people mess up whenever they talk about times. This is a little bit of a tangent, but what a lot of people mess up with in cross country is they think it's all about a time. It's like, oh, if I don't run 15:30 today, then I didn't have a good day. And maybe you ran on a course that was 400 meters long, which is actually what I did this past weekend. And the times were terrible, but I know it was good performance and I know I ran much faster than what the time showed. And tip number 2 relates to training. The thing that training allows you to do is to be calmer for longer. So let's say you're racing an 8K, you're running for 25 minutes. This is theoretical. You're running a 25-minute 8K. So if you don't train as much, you're only gonna be able to stay calm for about 10 minutes. And if you can only stay calm for 10 minutes, that last 15 minutes, you're almost freaking out. You don't really know what to do, and it becomes this super grind. And some guys out there can just press straight through that, and they have this incredible ability. But for most people, it takes a good amount of training in order to be calm for a longer period. So if you're racing an 8K and you've been training a lot, over the summer I was training 100-mile weeks in order to be able to stay calmer for longer. So that allows me to maybe stay calm for 16, 17 minutes of an 8K. And from that point forward, we're just gonna see what we can do. We're gonna see if we can press into the dark forest and see if we can push forward and run something we haven't run before. And so all this is just staying calm, trusting the training, trusting the process that you've put into this. And training looks different for everyone. Talk to your coach, figure out what's best for you, and utilize that training and trust that training whenever you go out and race. So tip number 3 relates to fueling. Now, fueling is a very important part of running in general. If you don't have fuel in your body, you're not gonna be able to perform at your best. And so that's something that I've really been focusing on lately, before races, before long runs, before workouts. I'm okay, I need to be sure, even the day before, that I'm eating enough, that I'm getting the right carbohydrates, the right electrolytes, the right everything, in order to be the most successful version of myself that I can be in a race the next day. Set myself up for success as much as I can. Before a hard workout that lasts an hour, hour and a half, I'm okay, I need carbs, because those carbs are gonna allow me to run more effectively in the workout itself. We don't have a sponsor for today's video, but we do have a partner, and that partner is BPN. BPN is Bare Performance Nutrition. Go one more, that's their motto. This is what keeps me alive. They've actually hooked me up with all sorts of great things. Hooked me up with some G1M Sport, which this is stuff I actually now take before my workouts, before my big workouts, long runs, races. This stuff is carbs, electrolytes, sodium, everything you need. They actually hook you guys up with some of this stuff too. So if you want to use my discount code Kelly15, they're actually going to allow you to get 15% off for your first purchase. This is for first time customers only, but they also have these electrolyte go packs, which I've been taking religiously because this stuff is incredible. 0 sugar, 500 milligrams of sodium, Bare Performance Nutrition, best tasting stuff that I've ever had as far as electrolytes go. So if you guys want to pick some up, use the code Kelly15. You'll be hooked up. That's part of fueling, is getting the right stuff in your system before a race, before a run. And I think that's huge for being successful on race day and in your workouts. The other thing I like to do in my races that relates to fueling is caffeine. Now, I've talked a ton about caffeine on this channel, and caffeine is one of my favorite things to take before I run. I like to use coffee. Coffee's my go-to. I just drink a cup of black coffee, no sugar, no anything added, and that makes me feel ready to go each and every morning. And especially before a race, I'll drink some black coffee. I did it before the race this past weekend, and I really felt like I was ready and I was set up for success. So caffeine is a huge thing that you can do for your regimen. If you haven't done caffeine before, like, experiment with it in workouts. Don't try it right before a race because that would set you up for a disaster possibly. But try it in a workout, see what it makes you feel like, and if it makes you feel good, stick to it. If it doesn't make you feel good, don't stick to it. Just like figure out what works for you, figure out what your body wants. So tip number 4 relates to psychology. Psychology is something that we've kind of talked about a little bit, but I think it's important to be composed whenever you step on the starting line. And what this means is, like, you're gonna be nervous before a race. You're always gonna be nervous before a race. I've never met any runner who says, no, I wasn't really nervous before that race. Like, I felt good, because everyone gets nervous. And if you are that runner, that 1 in a million runner who doesn't get nervous before races, then congratulations, you won the lottery. But most runners are gonna be nervous before their races.
How you feeling? Good.
My name is Jeff.
The best way that they handle that stress is to address exactly how they feel. They're like, oh yeah, I am nervous. It's normal. Okay, I have these nerves, it's fine. Like, I need to step on the starting line, be more composed than the people around me. And if I can have better composure, then I'm gonna end up running a better race than the people around me. And that is a huge thing, because you don't wanna get tight, you don't wanna get tense, you don't wanna be on the starting line feeling like you're just about to die, like you're terrified of the race. You want to step on the starting line feeling confident, understanding that you have nerves, and are using these nerves in order to propel yourself through the rest of the race and put yourself in a position to be super successful on the grass. And that's something that I've been focusing on a lot recently. It's like, okay, I need to step on the line feeling calm, composed, no matter what's going on. If I feel bad, if my stomach hurts, if I'm sick, if anything, I just know that I'm going to step on the line, and I just have to be composed, because composure is the key to success. Something else that relates to psychology that I've been focusing on recently is addressing that the race is going to be the hardest race that I've ever run in my entire life. Now, this may not be true, but if I'm going into a race and I'm like, yeah, this is about to be the hardest race I've ever run in my entire life, and it's gonna hurt worse than any other race that I've ever run in my entire life, there's a good chance that it actually feels much better than the worst race I've ever run in my entire life. And that is a positive thing to happen as opposed to a negative. I expect the worst case scenario, and then I'm pleasantly surprised whenever something better happens. So the last thing I want to leave you guys with is to, whenever you're going into a cross-country race, look at the course, study the course map, figure out where you're going, figure out what you're running, figure out how you're going to run the best of your ability, and don't be surprised by the course. I think studying the course is really important. It's something that literally anyone can do. It's the easiest thing to do, but oftentimes people forget to do it. Literally last year at the national meet, my teammate Gabe was running the national meet, and he thought he was coming around to the finish line, and he was actually coming around to the 8K marker. And Gabe's probably watching this video right now. And Gabe, you should study the course better. That happens, and it can literally happen to anyone who doesn't study the course. So study your map, figure out what's going on so you don't blow up in the last 800 meters or whatever and be blindsided thinking you're almost there. If there's anything you think I missed, if there's any tips that you guys personally have, drop them down in the comments below. Let me know. I want to hear what you do to prepare for a cross-country race and what you do to prepare for a race in general. I want to hear the thoughts of the people, and I want to be able to kind of, maybe I can apply some stuff to my own running, and I hope what I've said is able to help you in your running. So, there's the car. Good luck for the season. Keep working hard. I'll see you guys next time.